His hand was like a vice on the back of my thigh, squeezing so hard it stole the air from my lungs. My gasp was silent, trapped in my throat as he pushed into me, slow and insistent. I bit down on my lip, trying to anchor myself, to keep from crying out, tasting the coppery tang of my own blood. The pressure of him was immense, stretching me further than I thought possible. We were crammed in the narrow hallway just off the laundry room, with the kitchen door ajar. The mundane sounds of my life, the low hum of the refrigerator, the soft tick-tock of the old clock on the wall, were suddenly amplified, each one a potential footstep, a harbinger of discovery. Before we go any further into the wreckage of my life, if you find a piece of your own story in mine, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach others who might be feeling just as lost. I braced a hand against the cool, vibrating metal of the washing machine, a desperate attempt to ground myself while my knees threatened to give way. His breath was hot and ragged against the side of my neck, each exhale breaking with the slow, deliberate force of his pushes. "I can't. Slow down," he whispered, his voice hoarse, his fingers digging deeper into my skin, branding me. My mouth opened to protest, to agree, to say something, anything, but no words came out. I felt the thick, heavy weight of him press deeper, my entire body tensing, trembling with a terrifying cocktail of fear and desire. I wanted to shove him away, to run, and yet some treacherous part of me wanted to pull him closer. I squeezed my eyes shut and bit down harder on my lip, trying to fight the blistering heat that was blooming low in my belly, a heat that was inextricably tangled with the guilt coiling around my chest, making every breath a sharp, painful effort. I never, ever imagined I would cross this line. I never thought I would be this woman, the one clutching a washing machine for balance while a man who wasn't hers, a man she wasn't even supposed to look at in that way, pressed into her so deep she couldn't think, couldn't breathe. He wasn't mine to want. He was practically a boy, just 26 years old, someone who had drifted into my life by pure chance and slipped under my skin before I even realized the danger. I'm 39, I'm a mother. I'm a wife. My life is a carefully curated collection of responsibilities. I run a household. I pay the bills. I am the keeper of the mental calendar of birthdays, soccer practices, and doctor's appointments, so my husband, Mark, doesn't have to think about anything beyond his demanding job. I had built fortress walls around myself, believing I was safe from this kind of catastrophic mistake, immune to the kind of wanting that could shatter a world. But the moment Ethan closed that door behind him, the instant he stepped close enough for me to feel the heat radiating from his skin, I ceased to be the person I recognized in the mirror. What would you do? What would you do if the one person you felt a duty to protect was the very one you ended up craving in the dark, silent corners of your heart? He moved deeper still, a low, guttural groan tearing from his chest that sent a shiver through my entire frame. I felt the hot prick of tears at the corners of my eyes, the guilt so thick and suffocating I thought I might choke on it. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion, his forehead pressing into my shoulder as if seeking forgiveness. I didn't answer. I didn't push him away. I just let it happen. If you've ever been held captive by a secret that makes you both ache with shame and burn with a terrifying vitality, then this story will likely speak to you in ways you wish it wouldn't. That night, sleep was a forgotten country. I lay perfectly still in bed next to Mark, listening to the soft, rhythmic rumble of his snoring, a sound that had once been comforting, but now felt like a judgment. I stared up at the ceiling fan as it spun lazy, hypnotic circles overhead. Every time I dared to close my eyes, the scene replayed itself in agonizing detail. The hallway, the precise way the afternoon light spilled across the linoleum floor, the tremor in Ethan's hands as he gripped my thigh, the horrifying, exhilarating truth of how I didn't pull away. The guilt was a physical thing, an acid churning in my stomach. But beneath it, coiled so tightly it made my skin prickle, was the memory of his heat, the raw, desperate need in his voice, and the undeniable fact that it had made me feel something, anything other than numb for the first time in years. I've spent the better part of my adult life in service to others. Mark works long, grueling hours. I used to tell myself it was for us, for our family, for the sprawling house and the future we were supposedly building together. But lately, a more cynical thought had taken root. Maybe it's just easier for him not to be here, not to have to look at me, not to have to see the person I'd become. We didn't fight, we didn't argue, but we didn't touch either. We were polite, orbiting ghosts in a house full of shared memories, saying all the right, empty words. But in the dead of night, when the loneliness became a physical ache and I'd reach for him, he'd turn away in his sleep, completely oblivious. I had convinced myself that this was enough, that this quiet ache of loneliness was just a part of marriage, a part of life, something you swallow down like a bitter pill because your family needs you to keep functioning. And then Ethan came into our lives. He was helping with the garage renovation, the son of a friend who needed the work. He was punctual, quiet, and carried a shy smile and a pair of steady, capable hands. He was always polite, always respectful, offering to carry heavy boxes, fixing a stuck drawer in the kitchen without being asked, meticulously cleaning up his messes so I wouldn't have to. At first, I barely registered his presence. He was just part of the background noise of my life, another task to manage amidst the endless churn of appointments, errands, and chores. But he was persistent in his quiet way. He started looking at me, really looking, in a way that made me feel seen. He'd ask about my day and actually wait for the answer. He noticed when I was tired, when I was forcing a smile. He watched me with a gentle intensity that made my stomach twist into a knot I hadn't felt since I was a teenager. I told myself it was harmless. I was a grown woman, a mother. I knew better. He was just being kind. But the evidence to the contrary began to mount in tiny, undeniable increments. The way he'd linger in a doorway when I bent to pick something up, the way he'd engineer a reason to brush against me in a narrow hallway, the way his voice would drop half an octave when he said my name, Laura. It was building something inside me, something I had no idea how to dismantle. One afternoon, he stayed late to fix a leaky pipe under the kitchen sink. Mark was, as usual, working late, and the house was silent, save for the rhythmic drip, drip, drip of water and the hum of the fridge. He was on his knees, his t-shirt riding up just enough to expose the lean line of muscle at his lower back, the flush of skin where the waistband of his jeans dipped low. I should have walked away. I should have busied myself in another room. But I didn't. I stood there and I watched. And when he finally stood up, turning toward me with his hands still damp, and reached up to gently brush a stray strand of hair from my cheek, I felt it. A seismic shift deep within me, a crack running through the carefully constructed dam I'd built around my heart for years. I think, even then, a part of me wanted the dam to break. If you're still with me, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And if this story is touching a nerve, if you've ever felt that impossible pull, press the number 1 in the comments. You're not alone. After that first time in the hallway, I swore to myself it would be the last. I would be stronger. I would shut it down. But my resolve was a fragile thing. Every time he came to the house, every time I heard the soft creak of the back door, every time he said "Laura" in that low voice that seemed to catch at the edges, my resolve crumbled a little more. It was the smallest, most insignificant things that completely undid me. The way he'd stand a fraction of an inch too close when handing me a tool or a cup of coffee, the way his fingers would brush over mine and linger for a beat too long, the way he looked at me when he thought I wasn't paying attention, a look so full of things he couldn't say. He started finding more repairs to do around the house, staying later and later. My husband barely noticed. He'd come home, exhausted, and collapse onto the couch, oblivious to the steady, quiet hum of another man's presence filling all the empty spaces he had left behind. I started to dread the moment Ethan would leave, the profound, crushing silence that would descend upon the house after the door shut behind him. I would stand in the kitchen, clutching the edge of the counter, my arms wrapped tightly around myself to keep from shaking. It all came to a head on a Friday afternoon. The sky had turned the color of an old bruise, the clouds hanging so low and heavy it felt like the world was holding its breath. I'd spent the morning in a frenzy of cleaning, scrubbing surfaces that were already spotless, anything to distract from the gnawing ache in my chest. The rain started as a soft hiss against the window panes. I thought I was alone. And then I heard it, the slow, careful creak of the back door. My own breath caught in my throat. "I told you not to come here," I whispered, my voice trembling, my knuckles white as I gripped the sink. He shut the door, his dark hair plastered to his forehead, his shirt clinging to his chest. "I tried, Laura," he breathed, his voice strained. "I swear to God, I tried." I shook my head, a feeble gesture of denial, but my feet were rooted to the floor. He crossed the kitchen in 3 long strides, stopping just inches from me. The heat from his body was a tangible thing. I could see the trembling in his hands as he reached for me. "Don't," I whispered again, but the word was a ghost of a sound. "Tell me to stop," he pleaded, his forehead resting against mine, his own breath shaking. "Tell me you don't want this." I opened my mouth, but it was useless. No words came. He kissed me then, a kiss that was all hunger and desperation and weeks of unspoken tension. His hands, rough and calloused, slid under my shirt, exploring the soft skin of my back. A soft, broken sound escaped my lips as my own hands found their way up his arms, my nails digging into the damp fabric of his shirt. He lifted me onto the counter as if I weighed nothing, the cold tile a shock against the backs of my thighs. The rain slammed against the window now, a furious percussion matching the ragged, uneven rhythm of our breathing. When he pressed against me, I felt the full, hard size of him through the thin fabric of his jeans. I bit my lip again, stifling a whimper as he pushed closer still. "Please," I whispered, though even I didn't know if I was begging him to stop or to continue. He fumbled with the button on my jeans, his hands shaking as they traced the curve of my hips, my thighs, every part of me he had only ever been allowed to look at. A soft cry left my throat when he finally pushed inside me, slow and deep. I bit my lips so hard I tasted blood again, hot tears slipping from the corners of my eyes and tracing paths down my temples. He buried himself deep inside me, a low groan rumbling from his chest into my ear. "God, you feel..." he started, but the words broke apart, swallowed by a choked moan. I clung to his shoulders, the sound of the rain and the soft pleading sounds tearing from my own throat, filling the small hot room. Every push felt like it might split me in two. The guilt and the need tangled so tightly inside me I could barely breathe. When it was over, he just held me, our bodies trembling in unison, the sound of the rain filling the silence. "I can't stop," he whispered, his voice broken. And the most terrifying part was, neither could I. After he left, I remained in the kitchen for what felt like hours, the rain still drumming against the glass, a cold draft seeping under the door. I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to will my heart to slow down, telling myself it was over, that it would never happen again. But the ache didn't fade. It settled deep in my bones, a heavy, sharp weight. That night, I made dinner. I set the table. I smiled when Mark made a joke. I was a perfect actress in the play of my own life. But every time I blinked, I saw Ethan's face in the rain-soaked kitchen, the raw hunger in his eyes. A few days later, my daughter found a crumpled note in the trash amid one of his. "I can't stop wanting you," it said. She held it up, her young eyes wide with confusion. "Who wrote this, Mom?" My blood ran cold. I snatched it from her, my hand shaking. "It's nothing," I stammered, but the suspicion was planted. The end came quietly. I heard Ethan's voice in the hallway, talking to Mark. I stepped into the kitchen, my heart pounding a sick rhythm against my ribs. Mark was handing him a check. "Don't come around anymore," Mark said, his voice polite but cold as steel. "The work is done. We'll find someone else if we need to." Ethan's jaw tightened. His eyes flickered past my husband and met mine for a single, agonizing second. In them, I saw a universe of pain, guilt, and regret. Then he turned and walked out the door, out of my house, out of my life. I just stood there, unable to move, unable to breathe. That night, lying next to my husband, I felt like I was split in two. Part of me was relieved it was over, that the immediate danger had passed. But another, more honest part of me ached with a loss so profound it felt like a death. I've lived with guilt before, but never like this. Not a guilt that was so intertwined with comfort. Not a guilt that had made me feel more alive than I had in a decade. How do you put a